All right, good evening, and welcome to the Select Board meeting of November 15th, 2022. If you could join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, I would appreciate it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for attending. We just have a quick little piece of business that we need to address, and then we will get on to the swearing-in ceremony. We've got an appointment for Sean Buckley as a full member to the Zoning Board of Appeals. The application is in your packet. Did anybody have any questions for Mr. Buckley? Okay. With that, then, I will entertain a motion to appoint Mr. Buckley.
So moved.
Second. Okay, all in favor? Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Buckley. And Lynn, did you have a letter that you were going to give Mr. Buckley? And can you swear him in here?
I can.
Okay, great. Because she's here to swear in the, so.
I was just about to go to Ross.
Yep. Okay.
On your motion, you really should say that you're giving him...
For it's actually for a term to end in 2024. It's a full member of the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I do a swearing right now?
Yep.
Mr. Buckley, you just have to stand at the record. You, Sean Buckley, solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you, the zoning board member, to the best of your abilities in accordance with the bylaws of the town and the laws of the Commonwealth.
I will.
Please be so kind to sign. And you're legal.
And thank you, Sean.
Second one right there, please. Thanks, Sean.
All right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks, Esther.
Okay, with that, we will move on to the swearing-in ceremony for firefighter William Hurley. And I will turn it over to you, Chief.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So it's been a while since we swore somebody in. We had a little run there. We did like 9 in a row, and so it's been a while. But it's nice to see everybody here tonight as we swear in our newest member, William Hurley. Billy's a lifelong resident of Hanson, graduated Whitman Hanson in 1997, and he's been an active member of our call fire department for 5 years before we promoted him to full-time member. He graduated from the Massachusetts Firefighting Academy back on May 20th of 2022 and completed his probationary period this year on November 11th. And he's been a great addition to our department, and we're happy to be here tonight to have the clerk swear him in. Does anybody have any questions before she does?
No, we're thrilled to have you.
So Bill has members of his family here. We have members of the department, but I just wanted to point out that his father Bill, his mother Tina, his wife Christy, and his daughters Dylan, Hanson, and Kellen are here. And we're ready for you, Bill. Sure.
You only tell us so much that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as firefighter to the best of your abilities in accordance with the bylaws of the town and the laws of the Commonwealth. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
He's going to do
Awesome. He's gonna have his badge fitted on by his father Bill.
Bill, afterwards you need to sign it.
Sure.
Afterwards.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's good to see all you guys.
Everything's in here. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good luck. All right, Superintendent Simonek, how are you going to top that?
here. Briefly, it's the most wonderful time of year. We're starting to talk about budget again. And last year we had some conversations about open transparency and meeting time and getting our groups together to meet. So I've sent a tentative schedule, and I've already spoken to the Whitman Board of Selectmen about my process this year and asking for your thoughts and opinions on how you may want to proceed with the Hanson input of the regional school budget. So on 12/21, I'm going to present to the school committee an overview of the district budget. So some numbers. Hard numbers, not really. And as you know, this year is going to be an interesting year. Our numbers from the state aren't going to come out until March because of the new governor. Usually we get them the first week of February. They're not going to be till March. So we'll have some good estimations, but not rock solid numbers, but giving both boards or my board an idea of where we're at. I pitched to the Whitman Board of Selectmen the week of January 9th that I'd like to meet collaboratively with my school committee, the boards of selectmen, the Hanson board, and both FinComs that week. The Whitman Selectmen thought that was a good idea. They'd like to meet collaboratively.
And what date was that? I'm sorry.
That's the week of the 9th. So I don't know your meeting schedules. I know I have a meeting on the 11th, that Wednesday. I don't know if you guys have that.
We have one on the 10th.
On the 10th? So maybe we could look at that Thursday as a collaborative meeting if that is your choice. I'm also willing to do a meeting with just your board and your FinCom.
I mean, I think we had discussed we'd really like to
That's what Mr. Salvucci said as well.
So we're hearing the same thing, and we're able to talk to one another in that forum, and we just avoid that silo thing that's happening.
That would be outstanding.
Okay.
Because that frees me up from doing 6 meetings.
You agree?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that Thursday, the 12th, to do another really broad, more detailed overview of the budget, and then we're going to do a public hearing on February 1st.
Okay.
So that's our legally bound public hearing, and then we'll do the process. But I think your FinCom, your board will have an idea of where we're at that point.
Will that work for you, Mr. Dugan?
I think so. I think that my only pause, I think the joint collaborative, I like that idea a lot. My only pause is we take that, and then as we're really looking at numbers, really looking at what we can do. I don't necessarily know at that stage if it's one town can do X, one town can do Y, if that makes sense to have, collaborative meetings at that point. But initially to kind of hear everything out and see kind of where our points are, I completely agree with the one message, everybody's hearing it, it's not misinterpreted, I'm supportive of that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and I think probably then we each have to go back, calibrate, and then perhaps come back once we've had a little time to figure out. And I don't know what that process. This is the first time we're doing it this way, and I thank you for that because I think it's been a very critical dialogue that's been missing, and I think it's important for this partnership that we're hearing the same thing, we're talking about the same thing, we're understanding where each respective party is coming from, and then, it's just going to help, I think, really, hopefully tone down some of the, rhetoric and get to some of the facts and just focus on moving forward.
Yeah, I'm very happy that you'd like to do it together too. So I think you don't have to attend on the 21st. You can watch it. You must see TV on YouTube, so you guys have an idea of where I'm at already. Then come in with some questions, but maybe no answers, but you can ask questions back and forth or even of each other, and then move forward after the public hearing, get into the nuts and bolts of where each town is at. And I would ask the same thing as you guys go through that process and your board goes through the process, and Lisa and Frank, let me know where you're at as well, and I can make adjustments or have an understanding. And last year that was lost as well. I didn't have an understanding of where both towns were, and we kept moving. I didn't meet with the Whitman FinCom until the day our budget was certified by the school committee. So I'd like to have that collaborative process as well. But I think this we'll try this out. I think it'll be better than it has been in the past, and will also save me from meeting with each individual group 4 or 5 times. That being said, after the first, I can come to any board meeting that you want me to and give ideas after that public hearing.
Okay.
Where we're at.
I think that sounds like a great plan, and I think it will help eliminate the pearl clutching towards the end of the cycle where everybody's acting surprised and we're trying to figure out where the money's going to come from. So hopefully,
So
we'll
I'll
help
have
to
Michelle
avoid some of
tentatively
that.
put that as the night, on the 12th, Thursday the 12th.
Superintendent Simonek, will you put together this, will you send us
Yes.
a synthesized little timeline?
That's what I'm going to do
Okay.
for you.
All right, great.
And I'll have Michelle put that in now that I know that you folks have a meeting on the 10th. I just didn't know that. I couldn't find that anywhere, so I'm glad you have that, and I'll send something out so people can mark their calendars for the new year.
Great. Did anybody have any questions for Superintendent Simonek? Mr. Hickey?
Hi Jeff, how's it going? How is this going to work with the Regional Agreement Committee, where we haven't even met yet? I did speak with Chris.
Right.
And you obviously a member of that committee, a non-voting member, but still. How is that?
So I think no matter what, we have to come up with a budget, and the committee, the new Regional Agreement Committee is looking to meet on the 30th of November to start the process. We still have a good bones of what was done in 18, and now moving forward, where the Regional Agreement Committee has discussions, we still have to put a budget forward, and how that goes through the spring, I still have to put numbers in December, and that's what I want to show you guys first, your folks first.
So I think what I'm hearing you say is they are going to start on the 30th but they're separate, but
Yeah,
connected, but
yes.
not, the budget needs to proceed.
I still have I have an agreement right now in place.
Yep, okay.
So, but the budget process has to proceed no matter what, and we have an agreement in place until we change that agreement. So.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
I
mean,
appreciate
this
your
is
time,
great.
and
We
I'll have Michelle
appreciate
set it
you.
up. Thank
Yeah,
you
we
so much.
appreciate you reaching out. Thank you
Thanks.
so much.
Bye, folks.
Okay, I did skip around a bit, and Mrs. Rain reminded me that in my haste to do so, I neglected to have her read the ever important announcements.
Okay. The 17th Annual Hanson Public Library Open House is Saturday, November 19th at 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. There will be a taco dragon visit, an interactive animal experience, the art show, and much more. Applications for the Hanson Community Christmas are now available at the Town Hall and the library. If you are seeking assistance this holiday season, the application needs to be completed and mailed no later than Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. You must include proof of Hanson residency to apply. Applications missing this information will not be considered. Please note, Town Hall will be closed on Friday, November 25th, 2022. The annual holiday festival will take place on the Town Green on Saturday, December 3rd, 2022 at 4:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., with the festival being 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. and fireworks commencing at 7 p.m. Upcoming meetings: Strategic Planning Session November 19th, 2022, Select Board December 6th, 2022, and Select Board December 13th.
We also have
2022.
one that was recently added, just today, actually, November 29th.
Oh, yeah, November 29th, 2022.
And inquiring minds would like to know, Mrs. Cafardo, what exactly is a taco dragon?
Well, there's the Taco Dragon story book.
Okay.
And I think it was last summer or the summer before, we had the story book. There was a dragon painted on the front of it, well, when you walk into the library, on the windows there. And it's a great little story. I can't remember.
Does it involve tacos?
Well, tacos are not being
Okay, all right,
they asked for
okay.
some to the strategic planning meeting.
Okay,
That's not
all right. Okay, fair enough. Thank you, Mrs. Rain. With that, we will move on to our agenda. Camp Kiwanee resignations. In there, you will see that we've got 2 resignations from fairly long-time employees at the camp. I did circle back with Mr. Melissi to find out if there were any pitfalls for the unwary or lessons or common recurring theme. He did not feel that that was the case. I think, do we need to vote to accept their resignations? I mean, they're not appointed members, so.
So the Camp Kawani, you can vote to accept the resignations because they're longtime employees. So just to be safe, I would vote just to recognize the resignations.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second, with regret.
All in favor? Yes, I agree with regret. Stormwater and drainage, excuse me, management guidance. We've got Mr. Mansfield and Mr. Howard here to talk about stormwater and drainage. And I'll just open it up to you.
Well, as you folks know, the committee's been reconstituted several times in the past, and now reorganized again this year, and I'm the current chair, and Don's the secretary, and Ed's on the committee as well.
So there's three of us here.
That's okay, you're not deliberating about anything, we're just conceptually talking about, yep.
So what I'm looking to do as a chair is to get focus for the committee, and I've been unable to find any real instruction from the select board as far as what our purpose is and what our focus should be. And we need to know that so that we can organize ourselves to accomplish whatever it is that we're doing.
So there was a committee, a drainage committee, it was called the Drainage Committee, and I think that we thought that the purview of this committee would be kind of what that committee was supposed to be doing, which is working on any kind of drainage issues that there might be, which is a rather broad brush type of, so...
Plus, it's a state MS4 permit, and we don't know if we're supposed to be involved in that anyway or not. So you can see it's a little vague.
I can see that. I think that when I had talked to Ernie Amato, is he on the committee? I don't know. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. He had mentioned that back in the day, so yes, it may have been reconstituted, but according to Mr. Amato, it's been kind of defunct for about 15 years or so, maybe even longer. But the original intent when he was a member was to meet on a continuous basis with the highway director to find out what issues he had that he needed to have clarification, prioritization, direction on from that committee. So there was supposed to be some cross-pollination. So I think, Ms. Green, it probably would make sense to be meeting with Mr. Shav and the Drainage Committee to clarify roles and responsibility with respect to MS4 and drainage, because we obviously don't want them to step on his feet or him to step on their feet, but a little clarification of roles, I think.
He was actually on this committee at one time.
Yes, he should be on it now, not as a voting member, but as a, yeah.
So at any rate, so as it stands right now, we're not clear what we're supposed to do. And this new MS4 permit is rather involved and comprehensive.
Yes.
A little over my personal pay grade, actually. And so we don't know what involvement we need to have.
Yeah, fair enough. So I think if you don't mind giving Ms. Green some time to get you guys together with Jameson, Shav, and to hash out some of the details. I guess we're at a point where we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
So, I think we're, quite honestly, as long as you're collaborating with Jameson, I think that whatever way you guys think that you're going to be able to add value and help Jameson with drainage and stormwater things is kind of what, and I think the great part of it is you're on conservation, as is Mr. Heel. You've got Mr. Howard with his extensive background in a number of matters. I can't even begin to list them all. So I think you've got a good cross-pollination of skills, and we'll help try to clarify what your responsibility is. Mr. Howard.
No, would that include the detention and retention areas?
I think we'd probably need to...
Incorporated with it?
Yeah, that would seem logical, but again, I'd want to defer to Mr. Shav, who's, he's our man on the ground, he's our boots on the ground, so I would want to refer to him about what he thinks you guys could help him with.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry we couldn't be clearer, but I think that's kind of what happened. Yeah, okay.
Can I just ask, wasn't there somebody recently, didn't we have someone in here talking about drainage? Didn't we just,
That might have been me.
was it you?
Could have been.
But you were
just
talking
to-
to somebody else too. I thought that
What were
there
you
was
talking
another.
about?
Just shed a little light on the subject. The last time that they have minutes is from 2001.
Okay.
Back in the day, the Drainage Committee was not part of the highway. They had their own budget of $6,000.
That's true.
which-
They did have a budget.
And I'm only looking at Mike because he's here from finance.
Yeah,
but
they did have a
They
budget.
don't have a budget
No.
anymore, and anything that the Drainage Committee could possibly do would have to go through the highway.
Right. Well, that kind of seems like a.
No, you're actually right,
symbiosis.
because Mr. Amato mentioned that at some point in that 21 years, who knows
Yeah.
when, the drainage budget, as minimal as it was, somehow got folded into highway.
Yes.
So we would need to do something to pluck that out to give them a budget of some sort.
Well, that would have to come after we know.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And actually, Don Howard was part of the Drainage Committee when he sat on this board. But the person that I found before Don was back in 2007. And that was 6 years after they stopped having meetings. What I can't find out is when, or what I didn't find out at the time was when that $6,000 transferred from the Drainage Committee to be given a line in the highway budget and pretty much made the Drainage Committee, defunct.
Yeah, I mean,
because
no budget,
most of the
no-
members, even at that time, even if they knew anything about drainage, it would still have to come out of the highway department's budget.
Yeah.
And those would be the people that you would want handling anything.
That's why I'm saying highway definitely needs
Yeah.
to be part of the equation. But they need support, so, yes,
The
Mr.
only thing
Dugan.
I would want to piggyback is that if you're going to bring up carving out a new line item in the overall budget under drainage and stormwater, we're in year 4 of this
MS4, yeah.
permitting, and it's 10 years?
Yeah.
So we keep having that as an article that's funded out of free cash on something we know we're going to have to pay for the next 6 years. If this is going to be to a point where we're going to break something out and create a separate line item in the budget, I would then say that instead of just that piece that you're talking about, we should be considering that as well as part of the operating budget.
Okay, I mean, when we get to that point, which is very aspirational at this juncture, we will definitely circle back and talk to you about how best to structure it. We definitely will not go off-grid and do that on our own. But let's start with defining what the objective of the committee is. Sorry, it's a good place to start. Yes, Mr. Howard.
Yes, to go along with everything here, I found out that a lot of these associations that are constructed in town, where does the money come from? When are they turned over to the town, or the people that are in the associations on these different developments have to do the money that's on there? Because the problem I found is a lot of these detention and retention areas are developing mosquitoes.
Right.
And who's going to repair them? Where are you going to get the money from? The town can't pay for it, because you can't use town money to work on an association property.
So I think that probably will end up being something you guys end up circling back and talking to planning about how much money they're holding back of the bond, of the escrow for the developments that the private, before they're made public ways for those. And I think that's a lot of what this committee, again, I don't want to kind of dictate, but I think this is a lot of what this committee would end up doing is working with Highway to figure out at what point is a development, going to be in compliance with what we need for stormwater management and in a good enough shape that the town's willing to take on that liability and make it a public way. But that's prospectively for new developments. I'm definitely not saddling you guys with all of the existing issues that we have, although that may come out of this. I don't know what Jameson needs the help with, so. It's all over the map, Don. There's no consistent approach on that. I wish there was, but there isn't. Okay.
That's one of the biggest problems, is finding the money to do it.
Right.
And the problem is, initially when they were done, a bond should have been left in there to either do maintenance on it or change them over and make them all underground.
Yep.
Because if you have them underground, you don't have the maintenance that you have when they're open-faced.
Okay.
It's costly, and it's going to get worse.
Oh, it never gets cheaper. All right, well, we appreciate you guys coming, and thank you.
Can I
And
touch base with you during tomorrow or during the week?
yep, that'll be great.
I will be here.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, accept donations to the senior center in memory of Ernie Jutras. We have $25 from Sharon and William Kennedy and $100 from Michael Travers. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
With gratitude.
Yep.
Trying to think of the opposite.
No, I know. I mean,
Instead of regret.
yeah, with condolences and gratitude.
Yeah.
It's all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Right of first refusal for 902 Main Street, 40B, Unit 51. Ms. Green.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board. So this is a formality that takes place when someone who has purchased a affordable housing unit within the 40B statute, if that person were to sell the property, the select board of that town has right of first refusal on the property because it is a 40B and purchased through whatever funds that this person would use to purchase it, which is usually state funds. So they offer the towns a right of first refusal if they want to sell it, so in case we're interested in owning property.
And do we ever circle back? Obviously, as the select board, we don't have a budget to do anything about affordable housing. But do we ever circle back with the housing authority to find out if this is something they want to use community preservation funds to purchase, to move the needle on the number of affordable units that are available in town or not? Or I don't know.
I don't believe we have, since I've been here. I know that there was one other property actually in the same development that came before the board.
Is there a timeline on this by which we must respond? I'm trying to see if I don't see anything in
I
here.
don't see a timeline on here. So we can circle back with the housing authority.
It says that a hard copy has been delivered to the Hanson Housing Authority, but I'm just wondering, how do we make sure we're connecting the dots with them and double checking with them that they don't want to have us exercise, our right of first refusal? I just want to make sure that, we're including the entity that we have in town that's responsible for affordable housing and circling the wagon with them and finding out what their thought process is. It may very well be that they say this is too rich for our blood, we don't want to spend community preservation money on this, but we'll never know unless we ask.
We'll reach out to them tomorrow.
Okay, and
what
then-
we'll do is we'll put this back on the agenda for the November 29th.
Perfect.
meeting.
Is everybody okay with that? Okay. Okay, that's great, Ms. Green. All right, moving right along. We are at item 6, vote to increase the IT director salary to $105,000. Ms. Green.
Yes, Madam Chair and members of the board. So actually, there was a wage and personnel meeting, and it does appear to be June 21st, 2022, that, let's see, just bringing these up, that there was a discussion to increase the IT director salary and the COA director salary. And the board at the time voted to increase the bylaw, the wage classification bylaw, to up to 115. That would allow some room for increasing the salary. And then the the board focused on a grade of 105 based on the surveys that I had passed out that everybody has in their packet. So the bylaw was approved at town meeting to be increased, and now as a formality, the town accountant has suggested that the board vote to increase the salary to 105 so that we can make sure we can follow all formalities are followed.
And unfortunately, I just stuffed something in my mouth, but were we voting to increase this retroactive to July 1st?
Yes.
Okay. Did anybody have any questions or concerns or thoughts?
Now, our IT director is here to answer any questions you may have. He is well-deserved of this increase. He basically works almost 24/7 for the town. He is in constant demand. Basically fixing everything from slow computers, slow responsiveness in the programs to
being locked out of your
telephone systems, security cameras. He's also dealing with the much larger issue of our servers, upgrading, which, as you remember, when we were sharing an IT director, it was basically sharing. You know, we got 20% of that sharing.
You had us at Steve Moberg. Yeah, you had us at Steve Moberg.
Okay.
Yeah, I think ever since he's come on board, I haven't had anybody else steal my key fob.
Bonus.
I haven't had anybody lock me out intentionally out of my emails anymore. You've been a huge help, so it goes without saying. It's well deserved.
You have a valuable IT member. You
We do.
need to keep him.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
We appreciate you, Mr. Moberg, and hopefully this tonight will demonstrate how much we appreciate you. Anything else?
There is one further question that I would like to ask on behalf of the IT director, although we would need to work out the figures. So going back to July 1, 2022, there were increases of 2% also that were added on. The IT director would like us to consider increasing his salary to 105 and then adding the 2% onto that. We could bring it up to 107.5.
May I speak on why?
Sure. I think we've got two things tonight that, so the protocol is we need to meet in personnel and wage and talk about that, and we have not talked about this particular piece in personnel, wage and personnel, and then town meeting needs to approve it, which fortunately we're fine with that because we've got a bandwidth within what was passed at town meeting, and then we meet at the selectmen's meeting. So what we're able to discuss tonight is the $105,000 because that's what we've discussed in wage and personnel. More than happy to entertain that additional 2%, and please don't mistake this for anything other than protocol. We also have a situation with the Council on Aging Director salary where it's stating in here it's 3.5% increase, but we know that when we discussed it in wage and personnel, it was 3%. So we're going to have to circle back and have that on our next wage and personnel agenda, which hopefully could be handled on the 29th. Are you in agreement, Mr. Weeks, as the Chair of Wage and Personnel?
Yep.
Okay, so I think for tonight, we're going to put to bed the $105,000, and then on the 29th, we will meet, and if we agree to do that, we will also entertain whether that will be retroactive. Is that going to be okay with you? Okay, all right, great. Any further discussion on that? Okay, I will entertain a motion to increase Mr. Moberg's salary to $105,000.
So moved.
Second.
Retroactive to July 1st.
Retroactive July 1st.
All right, so did somebody second it?
Yep, me.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, great, thank you. And we'll put the other item on for the 29th. Okay? Sorry we couldn't handle it all tonight. The next item is vote to increase the Council on Aging Director's salary. In our agenda, it says to $68,234, but as I just mentioned in the prior discussion that we were having, that would be if it were 3.5%. What we've discussed in wage and personnel was 3%, which would be a salary of $67,904.81. So tonight on the table is a vote to increase the Council on Aging Director's salary to $67,904.81.
So moved.
Okay.
Second?
Any further discussion? Okay, and that would also be retroactive to July 1st. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Well, we are clipping along, and I have now just called the universe in on us. Okay, town administrator vacation time. Ms. Green.
Madam Chair, members of the board, before my foot became very ill, I have a vacation planned with my family down to Orlando, to Disney. That is going to take place December 22nd through January 2nd. We are driving down, and I was hoping to ask the board to allow me to borrow 5.6 days. I have provided a spreadsheet, nice, newly done spreadsheet with figures that outlines basically when I was out on medical leave, how my time was broken down per week. So basically from the prior year, from FY22, I did carry over 5 days vacation. So I earn my vacation, I accrue it monthly on an equal basis, so that gives me 1.65 day per month. So when I look at July, August, September, that equals 4.95 days plus the 5 days. So basically, as of September 1, I had 9.95 days. I went out on medical leave August 26th, but came back September 20th. So basically how they broke my time down from when I was out was August 29th through September 2nd, they used like 3 personal days and 2 sick days. September 5th through the 9th, we had the holiday, Labor Day holiday, used 1 sick day and 3 vacation days. September 12th through the 16th, we used 5 vacation days, and then the 19th through the 23rd, 5 vacation days, which equaled 13 vacation days. So I had 9.95 days saved up, which gave me a balance of 3.5 days. So October 1, I earned 1.65 minus 305 gave me 1.4 days left. Come November 1, I earned another 1.65, so I now have only 0.25 days to the board. Come December 1, I'll earn another 1.65, which will give me a positive of 1.4 days. So if we look at all of that, I've broken out the days for vacation and how it would work out. That equals 7 days minus the 1.4 I still have in the bank, so it would equal 5.6 days. 5.6 days that I'm asking to please borrow. Had I not gotten my foot very sick, I would have plenty of vacation time. Unfortunately, my foot sought a different direction.
Did anybody have any questions for Ms. Green?
How about down at the bottom, Lisa, it says you want to borrow 5.6 days?
Yes.
Okay, I don't get where the 0.6 is, because vacation time to earn is 4.95.
Well, that is October 1, November 1, and December 1. We haven't started December yet, so I didn't include that 1.65 in this.
Okay.
But every 3 months, I accrue 4.95 days.
Because the closest I can come up, with the easy math, is 0.25 is 2 hours. 0.50 is 4 hours. So 0.75 is 6 hours. I can't, without using half hours and 15-minute increments, get to a 0.65. And I'm looking at Mike when I say this only because the way we've done it in the past is, you accumulate 1.25.
Oh, that's sick time.
Oh, but Right,
Yeah.
but the .25 is 2 hours. My point is, where is the 6.5 coming from? I'm not getting it. It's either got to be
Can we round it up or round it down? Or, yeah, is that what you're
Well,
saying? Like, let's,
Yeah, it's either got to be,
5 point.
down at the bottom, it's either got to be 5.5 days, 5 days and 6 hours, or 6 days.
Yeah.
I don't see where the .6 is coming in. That's all I want to get.
Well, it's tough because I get 20 days vacation, but I earn it on equal monthly increments. So, this is all done with Excel spreadsheet formulas. So when you do 20 days divided by 12, it comes out with 1.65 days.
right, but Jim's just saying, for the sake of sanity and for us being able to easily understand what you're asking for, can we just round it up or round it down?
5.5 days.
Yeah,
5.5 days, then sounds good to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the
It's
5.6
mystifying, yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
no, it's mystifying, it is. Okay.
Mike, you have the answer to that 5.6, though. I know you do. I met your mother 2 weeks ago. She's a very nice lady.
Oh, you good?
And she said you're all about the numbers, so I'm glad you're here. You could have figured that out. But I just think 5.5 is much easier.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I agree, I agree.
Okay, did anybody else have any concerns or thoughts? I think it goes without saying, but obviously to the extent you leave before you're able to pay these back, we would expect you to pay this back because you're borrowing it. Okay. Did anybody want to make a motion to allow Lisa to borrow 5.5 days contingent upon her continued employment, and that she will repay it to the extent that she's not here at such time?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Are you okay with that? Okay, great.
Go on vacation.
Exactly. This is one of the most ill-fated vacations I've ever heard of in my life. So many obstacles have come up, but you've persevered to do this. Okay, next up is approve open session minutes. We've got June 28th, August 30th, November 1st, November 4th, and November 9th. And do we actually have all those in this packet?
They're all stapled together.
Oh, they're stapled, okay. All right.
In this packet.
I saw them, but I
Have the
didn't.
one, a typo or on page 4 of one of them.
If it's nothing material, you can
It's not,
just
I just
mark
gave
it
it
up
to
and
her.
just give it to her.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
For instance, there was one page where I think I was LK or something. It was
Yep, same thing.
much more hip and happening than I feel on a daily basis. That's fine, then you can just give okay, did anybody have any other comments about anything material that they thought was, needed to be tweaked or what have you? Okay. If not, then I will entertain a motion to approve. And do we want to do them individually or all in a group? It's up to you guys.
It's fine.
Let's do it.
Okay, all right. I will entertain a motion to approve the June 28th, August 30th, November 1st, November 4th, and November 9th minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, fantastic. And one-day liquor license, vote to approve a one-day liquor license for Karain Roberts, and my condolences if I mispronounced that, on November 26th.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay, all in favor? And Ms. Green, over to you. Town Administrator's report.
Administrator report. All right. So first and foremost, I really would like to thank all the work that town employees went through to make a successful town meeting on Wednesday, November 9th. Our town clerk, Beth Sloan, and assistant town clerk put in 14-plus hour day the day before, and then we're at town meeting on Wednesday. So bravo to them and recognition to them for their hard work, as well as Lynn in the office and our former intern Jake, who worked hard to put all of the updated warrants together and get them over to the schools and prepare all that. So bravo to the staff at Town Hall for having a successful town meeting. Second of all, too, we have a donation of a picture from a Cheryl Tott. She's lived in town since 1960, since the 60s, and the picture was her parents' picture, Margaret and Robert Tott. And it's actually a picture of that we have in Town Hall already. It's a picture of Town Hall, and it has people walking around. So we actually have a picture of that in the Town Hall, but she brought in another picture with a very nice frame on it to donate to us. So we just want to thank her. Unfortunately, her parents are no longer with us, so she thought it would be nice to donate that picture to the Town Hall.
So we'll probably want to put that on our agenda for the 29th to accept that donation? Okay.
So we'll put on there. And I'm happy to report, Maya, we had applied for a grant from Meyer to invest in building maintenance software. We've received a grant of $9,000 towards that. So that's going to be a big help in helping us with assessing our building maintenance program and putting together a schedule for our building maintenance. So thank you to Maya for that grant. And Charlie was a big help with that as well, as we sought quotes from software companies to look into different software for that type of product. And I just again wanted to mention the strategic planning session, Saturday, November 19th from 11 to 3 at Camp Kiwanee. We will have an agenda that will go out tomorrow morning to everyone who said that they were going to come. And McQuan, circling back to McQuan, demolition and invitation for bids. So we had the site walk, Charlie and myself and Kerry Glass had the site walk on Monday, the 14th. There were quite a few construction companies that came to the site walk.
Wow.
There were a number of questions that were brought up, and it looks like we're either going to have to delay the bid deadline or possibly cancel the bid because the questions that had come up, we need to reach out to the schools for answers for some of them. For instance, there was an asbestos study done back in 2015. However, the asbestos study did not include windows and roofing. And apparently there is a need for a window and roofing survey for asbestos in those areas of the school. We have reached out to the schools, to Tim Hawley, the new facilities director, for questions of whether the school did in fact have a survey done that included windows and roofs, what abatements were done up to date. So we're waiting on that.
Ms. Green, you had mentioned that to me either today or yesterday, and I got thinking, gee, I remember, because I'm on the McQuan Reuse Committee, I remember having a comprehensive report that Mr. Sandlin had given us, and it was part of when they were thinking about whether they were going to build a new school or not. Part of what they had to do was study how deplorable the other McQuan was to make a case for building a new school. And although that failed, we still have the results of the study that they did. And so I'm going to give this to you, but I ask that you return it to me because it's my only copy.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that may answer some of your questions.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, if that turns out that it has the answers that we need, then that would be very helpful.
So it would be unfortunate to cancel it, but I understand why. So if we cancel the RFP, would we reissue it once we have those answers and include that the bidders would need to remediate the asbestos, say, in the window and the roof, if that was the case?
Yes.
Okay,
So
all right.
that was just one area that, the scope of work would be revised.
Okay.
So another area was once the building is all gone, what is going to be left there? So there was a question on the type of fill to be brought in, and Kerry Glass was going to work on that and get that portion to me. And another question that came up that we've hit a little bump in the road, again, that we're going to need to revise the scope of work is the water. It was asked if water was going to be made available available for this project. We did reach out to the water department. They said, sure, if they want to use a little garden hose and hook it up, that's fine. But if they need something bigger than that, no, we're not going to entertain that. So what that means is the contractor will need to bring in their own water.
And
So-
was there any rationale provided for that?
So if they use a bigger hose, larger hose, that somehow causes dirty water to flow back into the system.
Okay.
So they don't want to see that happen. They are not going to entertain any of that happening. So we're going to have to revise the scope of work as well to also include that the contractor needs to bring in their own water.
Okay.
So that's revising a lot of the RFP.
Yeah, because what we don't want is to have people respond to the RFP as written and then upcharge us for the fact we didn't tell them they had to provide water, for the fact there's asbestos, we didn't tell them they'd have to remediate.
Yeah.
We need a once and done, this is the cost, no add-ons.
Exactly, yeah. So that would make all the sense for us to cancel this RFP, revise it, with all of this information once we've obtained it. And if we don't have window and roof asbestos, we need to get a study done.
Okay.
So that's why I think it's best to cancel it. I'll look through that and see if that is, and I'm going to reach out to the schools again to see if they can provide us with that information. If not, then we know what direction we need to go in.
Okay, thank you.
But it was very good to have that site walk. They came from Holyoke, they came from Lowell, they came from New Hampshire. They drove long ways to be there. And one funny little story is that one of the members of a contractor that was there actually went to school at McQuan when he was 9 or whatever age. And when we were in the main office, there was a picture sitting on the counter of some of the kids dressed up in Halloween costumes, and he was in that picture.
Stop it.
No,
this is a little bit creepy, actually. This
and
is
he's
like Twilight
he's like,
Zone.
oh my God, that's me.
Okay.
The picture was from 2009, and I said, here, take the picture. He said, that's me in the straw hat. I'm like, take the picture, please. So that was really precious. That was precious. So we have somebody that went through the school system here, graduated, and is now gone on to, a very successful career where he was actually one of the people that talked about the asbestos. So just a funny little story on that.
Yeah, Ms. Green, Mrs. Capardo has something.
I have a quick question, Lisa. If we cancel the current RFP and we have to go amend it and put it out there again, how long does this, do you have an idea of how many more months this will take for a conclusion?
Well, so basically I need to gather the information and then revise the RFP.
Okay.
Most of it is already complete, so it's mainly, it's revising the scope of work.
Okay.
But how long will you give people to respond? In other words, I think what she's trying to say is, can we get a timeline? Would we still be on track for something for the Maytown meeting if you have to revise this RFP and go back out?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
It would only possibly delay this maybe into February.
Okay.
So, no, it's not going to be that much of a delay. But, I will be able to look at it a little bit more closely. But I try to work on it and get that all back out there. Now that we're past special town meeting, and we know what money was spent, and we know where we're going, the budget preparations for the FY24 budget will start taking place. The memo is already drafted. I've got some direction from Todd and hope to get that out on Monday to all the department heads so they can start assembling their budget. And also 269 Wood Street is finally going to auction, scheduled for December 2nd. is going to happen here at the Town Hall at 10 a.m. and here in the Select Board's office.
December 2nd?
December 2nd, yes.
Oh, it's December 10th. Okay.
Yeah, nope, the 2nd, at 10 a.m. So we do have people can, if they want to get information on this, they can go to www.sullivan-auctioneers.com. They'll find information on the property. There are little flyers here in Town Hall. There's one hanging up outside the treasure collector's office, and they can drive by the property. The highway department did a fantastic job with clearing a lot of the brush away from the property, so people at least can walk around it and look. They can't go in through the backyard, they can at least walk around and look through. So I want to thank the highway department again for doing that for us. And we'll see where it goes. It's a toss-up of whether it's going to be a tear down or a complete rehab, although the interior structure, the skeleton of it appears to be in very good condition. So it'll just be whoever purchases it, which direction they decide to go.
Well, it'd be good to get something back on the roll, back on the tax rolls.
So, and that basically concludes my town administrator report for this week.
Did anybody have any questions for Ms. Green? Okay. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session. And we will be coming out of this in executive session. We will not be in open session. And, okay, thank you. And good night, Mrs. Cafardo. And this would be executive session pursuant to open meeting law to conduct collective bargaining sessions, administrative professions union, executive session pursuant to open meeting law to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body and the chair so declares. So moved and seconded. All in favor? Okay, great. So we're going to recess to executive session.